What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 51 of Unfiltered. I'm your host, ChanManV. Joining me today is my man, Destiny, each and every week. What's up, Steven?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Cody's back. What's up, Cody?
I'm doing swell, man. How are you?
Good, good. And Richard, guys, is not here today. He's spending some quality time with his lady before the All-Stars. So we got the pleasure of welcoming Chris on here, EG.Huk. What's up, buddy?
Not much. Just got back from eating some burritos, so I'm very happy.
Burritos.
Yeah.
Chipotle or what?
No, I wish. Qdoba?
Qdoba?
QW? Qdoba? I don't know.
Cadoba.
Yeah. That.
Okay. Is that a chain?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
Oh, I didn't know that one.
I've never had it before. It's kind of like a second degree Chipotle, I feel.
yeah, exactly. It's very similar to Chipotle, but just not quite as good.
What? Chipotle is like pretty minimalistic already. How can it
Well,
be?
listen to this 1%.
It's true.
Chipotle is the shit, Chan, man.
It is. I'm not saying it's not, but it's not like it's like extravagant, like burritos and shit, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, cool. Well, guys, we're gonna be talking lots of StarCraft today, and lots of stuff going on over the weekend. So we'll be talking Lone Star Clash, a little bit about Takes Ultra Invitational, a lot of Europeans in that one. Also, a lot of talk about Swarm hosts, mostly because of some games that happened at Lone Star Clash, and David Kim posted something today on the Battle.net forums, so we'll definitely talk about that. And then we'll end things with we'll talk about the Team Liquid map contest winners too, so we can get a look at maybe some of the maps we'll be seeing on the ladder real soon. And then we'll be taking some subscriber call-ins. So I messaged you guys in the Twitch Twitch inbox or whatever, so check it out. Subs, it'll tell you where to message your questions and all that stuff on Skype and all that business. And then we'll take some Reddit questions like we always do from the Reddit thread, which is right here. Be sure to upvote your favorite ones and get your own questions in there so we can answer them. They're always a lot of fun. But all right, let's start out with some Lone Star Clash. Huck, you were just there in Austin competing in the event. So let me get your first thoughts on the event and if you enjoyed it and all that good stuff.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was obviously I guess like a minor event compared to DreamHack and stuff, but they did a lot of things right. Their staff was like very, very diligent and hardworking. And I don't know if it's just because like they don't do as many events or
it's all students too, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
they were just very, very like it seemed like they enjoyed their work and they were happy to be there, and they were like, like if you needed a ride somewhere, if you needed food, they would just say like, hey, can I help you with anything? Blah 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 blah. Even when there was like a lot of technical issues, it was very obvious they were constantly trying to fix them or do better, and they were very understanding when there was problems as far as schedule. They were trying to ask players like, how do you want to do it? How if you guys can come up with a decision, we'll do whatever you want to do. So as far as that stuff, it was really cool. Obviously, there's a lot of small and large technical issues, but other than that,
first day was pretty rough, actually.
Yeah, I enjoyed the event overall. I thought it was really well done, and if I had a chance, I'd definitely go back.
Okay, that was your first time there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, for the most part, I think generally the players have always, I think, said that they've been really, really accommodating. I was at the last one, actually. I was at Lone Star Clash 2, and then I remember in the first one, all the players just, raved about it. Actually, Steven, you were at the first one, right?
Yeah.
They pretty accommodating at that one?
Yeah, they're really cool.
Yeah.
I think most players agree that the staff there are really nice.
Yeah, it's those students work really hard, and again, it's run mainly by the Esports Association over at Texas, right? I mean, Texas Esports Association. I think that's what TESPA stands for, but their own chapter or whatever is, I think, responsible for just all the production and all that stuff. I think we lost Huck there for a second. So yeah, I mean, they do a great job. Cody, were you watching it from home?
Yeah, I was. I thought once they got those sort of initial hurdles out of the way that it really was a great event. A lot of really cool storylines. That first day, those first couple of hours were brutal as fuck, though.
Yeah, it was a lot of technical issues. I'm not sure what was going on back there. I just really anything behind the production issues, but I don't know.
I heard that they were having trouble connecting to Battle.net from the computers.
Oh, that's
So,
right. Yeah, because Blizzard they were doing something right. I think it wasn't even their fault, right, in the
Yeah,
beginning.
it wasn't.
maybe
what
I don't know. It's
Some-
hard
Yeah,
to say.
Kristen.
Start your
Some-
cam, Chris.
Oh, some of the technical issues was definitely like the venue or something, and some of the issues was BattleNet. So
Yeah.
it seemed like they didn't like the. I mean, like obviously you can't do much. You run on a venue. You hope the internet's well. You do your tests, but there was definitely venue issues with the internet, and then there was definitely issues with just BattleNet in general. But thankfully because there was a lot of issues, they did most of the games on stage.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a separate connection. So that's the way they handle it. Is like we're just gonna do like pretty much 90% of the matches on stage.
Oh, okay. So I guess that wasn't intended originally. Like Steven, you were doing the secondary stream, right?
Yeah.
How was that, man?
Yeah, the delay fucking killed me. I'd already stayed up really fucking late, and we ended up having like a 3 fucking hour delay. I ended up falling asleep when we were waiting between one of the sets of games, but I mean it was okay. Sheth had never like really casted before, like and done the camera shit too, so he was like really rough with that. But I mean for the most part, it seemed to go okay.
Yeah. How many matches? Because I didn't really, actually I didn't even catch the secondary stream much. I didn't even know there was one until I saw some different posts. But how many matches did you guys cast?
I want to say 7 sets, I think.
Okay. All right, it's not bad.
One of the
Pretty good.
things I want to bring up as far as Lone Star Clash, because right before Lone Star Clash I went to DreamHack, so I played Pult and I was up 2-1 and then I lost 3-2.
Mhm.
But
Yep.
I really hate. I love DreamHack. I love the stuff. I love the event. Blah blah blah. You know that stupid shit out of the way. The best of threes that they do all the way up to the finals is so stupid, and Lone Star Clash like that really. I really noticed how much that can hurt a tournament because there was so many like really good series from round of 8 on at Lone Star Clash. A lot of like 3-2s, 3-2s. And I think it hurts an event so much when you have a best of 3, you know, all the way through into the finals and it's a best of 5. So I'm even though I lost and like if that was a dream hack, I would have beat Pult 2-1. I
Yeah.
still think that best of 5s are the way to go. At least at like semifinals. I mean, I could even understand a best
Yeah.
of 3 at round of 8, but it seems so stupid to have a best of 3 all the way to the finals.
They used to do best of 5s and semis, right? I don't remember it being best of 3s all the way up to the finals.
I don't know. I don't really remember because I haven't been
Hmm.
that far in a tournament in so long. But
Wow, the truth, man, crazy.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know, but I mean, they like it's because they have a 2-day event for DreamHack and they have like a lot more players and they got to do groups and
Yeah,
stuff.
of course.
I wish they would figure out some way like don't stream as many matches because right now they're trying to stream like every round of 8 on or something like that for DreamHack.
Yeah.
So if they split it up, only have someone else do a secondary stream or something, I don't know. But I definitely feel like the best of 3 all the way to the finals really sucks.
Yeah. No, there are a lot of great matches this weekend, and like you said, I think lots of them went to Game 5 too, so that was actually great. You played quite well, Chris. Actually, this weekend, what did you think of your play?
I think I played okay. I did a lot better at preparing, because when I played Pult, he played Seed the day before, so I went home after I got done and watched the VODs and prepared like
Yeah.
for the 2 maps that I did see him play Seed on. But I played okay. The games I lost looked very one-sided, and the games I won looked very one-sided. So just gotta work on some issues.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think Protoss. What's the furthest the Protoss got this weekend?
Round of 8.
Round of 8,
Yeah,
right? Okay,
quarterfinals.
so yeah, it's definitely more of a Zerg Terran dominated tournament, which is
Yeah,
kinda
didn't
it's crazy,
the whole
isn't
story
it?
come
It's
too?
crazy.
It was
Exactly.
Zerg and Terran.
Yeah,
I don't know
so-
what's going on with Protoss, huh, Steven?
I mean,
No.
has anything changed? Has anything changed recently?
The map pool is a big
Yeah,
impact on
true.
that, I think. And then I just think Zergs and Terrans getting better at the stuff that Protoss was doing before
Yeah.
compared to now. So
Yeah, Steven, any observations of this tournament besides obviously Swarmhorse, which we'll talk about in really soon here.
Well, like it would like on like general game.
Yeah,
balance
or just
design
players.
what?
Anything
I don't
impressed you? Anybody's play impress you?
know. From the games that I watched, or from the games that we cast, I don't remember anything like super standing out.
Yeah.
I really hate the beginning of PvTs. I hate Mothership Cores and Reapers. It's pretty much every single PvT has to open the exact same way from the Protoss point of view, right, Huck? Like, you can't ever do anything different, otherwise a Reaper will fuck you hardcore, right? In terms of, like, delaying the Cyber Core, getting an earlier Nexus. Unless you, like, absolutely fucking know your opponent's not going to open Reaper.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah, that's really fucking boring to me. I really don't like that. So the beginning of every single PvT plays out almost exactly the fucking same. But I mean, other than that, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, so one of the big things, obviously, that was a discussion point with Lone Star Clash was a lot of Stefano's games, in particular the ZVZ games, right, where he kind of broke out Swarm Host and was able to win some games. One in particular lasted 2 hours. The game that he had with it's Petraeus or Petraeus from Root. And obviously that was the biggest thing that people were talking about on Reddit and just in the community. But in general, I think just Stefano just showed that if you're behind, you can just go to Swarm Host, you can catch up. And Steven, I think you kind of feel the same way. And even Violet, who apparently doesn't play that much Swarm Host, seemed to even adjust that way too, even during the tournament itself, because he made a comment about like he learned from Stefano just by watching it, even though he might not play that much Swarm Host. So what do you guys think of, I guess, how that played out? And I mean, is that the right thing to do, just given the way Swarm Hosts are? Is just when you get behind, just go Swarm Host? Steven, I'll let you start off with that.
The best late game Zerg army is just it's just mass Swarm Host Viper and I think Infestor. And if you build those units, then the only way your opponent should theoretically be able to beat you is by doing the exact same thing. You just spore up. If they go any other unit, the Swarm Host kills everything on the ground. If they try to go Broodlords, you've got Vipers to suck them into the spores.
Yeah.
And that's really it. That's all you can do. You could try to clear it with like Banelings and Ultras, I guess. Maybe you can push through with like a big wave, but I mean, if you don't, then you're fucked. And if the opponent is watching, he can fungal the Banelings or whatever. So
yeah.
I mean, yeah, if you're behind and you think your opponent doesn't know how to play like a late game ZVZ, then you can just like make a beeline for that tech, and then if you get there with a reasonable number of Swarm Hosts, your opponent's pretty much guaranteed to lose unless you fuck up.
I mean, we've been seeing so much Roach battles lately, right? There's been all this discussion that ZVZ is kind of reverting back to old school Wings of Liberty with just Roach battles and Roach Hydra, Roach Infestor, that sort of thing. But then all of a sudden this tournament we just see Swarm Hosts, and that's just like the big discussion. So what's going on there? Like why the dynamic all of a sudden this tournament with Swarm Hosts?
Well, I mean, it's got to do with the players too, no? I mean, like Stefano's pretty much known for doing that now. Like that's what he does as he goes the Swarm Host route, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know he went so much of that in ZVZ. ZVP for sure.
I'm pretty sure in ZVZ, like isn't that Stefano's thing when he was streaming and shit? He pretty much always goes for Swarm Hosts. Anybody here watches stream?
It's probably true.
That's definitely.
Yeah, that's like his thing. Like he like does that now. Like that's like the Stefano thing is to like go Swarm Host and ZVZ. So yeah. I mean, I'm sure that's a big influencer on the tournament, considering Stefano played so many matches.
So can you counter it with just like more just earlier Roach pressure and that sort of thing, or no?
I kind of wish I would have watched the games, but I'm pretty sure with the timing attack, I'm pretty sure you can immediately end somebody if they're trying to rush Swarm House. If you do like a really big Roach timing, I don't see how you hold that off early on with Swarm House, unless they do like a total dick opening, like they go like 2 base Swarm House and just slowly taking a third. But even at that, the problem with Swarm House is that they're okay. No, I'm sorry, they don't get good until you get like at least 8 of them. If you've only got like 3 or 4 or 5 Swarm House, I mean, like you just fucking run over them. After you kill the Locust, you just move in, you kill the Swarm House, and it's game over. So.
All right, what do you think, Huck? What do you think of the current situation with Swarm House?
I mean, it's not good, obviously. No one needs to say that. What I don't understand is that I don't play Zerg, obviously, but from what I've heard, TLO tweeting a lot, is that there was some way before where Broodlords couldn't be abducted by Vipers. Like it was a bug or something, not intended, but they weren't able to be abducted, and now they fixed it so that they could be abducted, and that kind of broke what was stopping the stalemates. Because obviously, if you have Broodlords against Mass Spore Viper, and they can't be abducted, then you can just slowly push and win. But if they can, then you lose. And a lot of what David Kim's posted about is that one of the ways they're looking at fixing it is basically to make it so Vipers can't pull massive units, including Colossus, which is obviously not smart. But
I don't know what you would pull if you couldn't pull massive units.
So I don't understand why or like how they can't just somehow re-implement that quote-unquote bug because that seems like it would be the easiest and simplest answer to all these problems.
I think that still leaves a big issue as like a spectator, though. That was one of the problems at the end of Wings of Liberty, is that these units that just spawn free units that just attack one another to death just isn't compelling. Even if this sort of theoretically fixes the problem, it's still just sort of not that interesting to watch.
Maybe.
One
thing.
Go ahead, Steve.
I was say one thing that's really careful to consider. It's really easy to say like the free units are really boring, and that may or may not be true. But the reason why I believe we associate free units with being boring is because those free units are often abused in a meta where you're pretty much like playing a very stale game until you get to the absolute late game. For instance, like when you think about like Broodlord Infestor, like was it boring watching like Broodlord Infestor because of free units or whatever? I mean, like I guess so. But as a player, the reason why those matches were boring, and I mean as a spectator to some extent too, the reason why those matches were boring wasn't because Broodlord Infestor broken or whatever, Mothership Core, whatever. It was because the game was literally like a 30-40 minute macro game to nothingness until like the big fight at the end that was like a boring kind of stalish made like herp derp. So I mean, like I think that's something to keep in mind too. The meta has to play a lot with it too. Like for like a 2-base Swarm Host rush or like a 1-base Broodlord build, both impossible, would be relatively exciting even though they have free units. I think it's important to consider when the free units come to play.
I think the majority of the problem is something like with Broodlord Infestors. It was the same thought process as Swarm Host now, where as long as you get to that composition, you have like a good chance of winning the game, basically. And that's currently what it is with Swarm Host, is you're like looking to tie or win. And even in other matchups like ZVP, if you're behind, you Swarm Host, and at the very least, you're gonna like extend the length of the game by a huge margin, compared to if you were doing something else. And if not, you're gonna like slowly win that game. And ZVZ, it's been used as like, okay, well, I can't win this game, or I'm really behind, so instead of like just losing, I'm gonna go for the tie. And I think if they just fix the like not having Broodlords being able to pull, like Stefano or whatever Zerg's not going to feel safe, turtling on 2 bases with no economy and just saying, fuck it, I'm going for the tie if there's something that like automatically just kills them, like Broodlords. So
I mean that's Stefano. That's Stefano. I mean, that 2-hour game was so painful to watch. I mean, were you actually watching it live, Chris? I mean,
I played my matches, so I came in like I don't know, an hour in or something when I was leaving the venue. But like, imagine if that Broodlords can't be abducted. That game's just over. There's like absolutely nothing to be done. So I don't understand. That seems like the easiest, best fix.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that
and
too.
I think like Swarm Host, the biggest problem with them right now is ZVZ. Like ZVP, you can say like, okay, well this is imbalanced or that's imbalanced, but at the end of the day, it's become, people aren't complaining so much about Swarm Host and that except in ZVZ. So
I like David Kim's line where he was like, "It's okay." Essentially, what he said was, "It's okay if Swarm Hosts are super fucked in ZVZ because it'll always be balanced." I couldn't. I'm pretty sure he was being serious, but I couldn't tell.
Because mirror matches are always balanced, right?
Yeah, there's gonna be no sarcasm in a post like that. So
I know it was funny to read.
Yeah, so here's the post that he's talking about. So Davey posted, and there were some comments about, I guess, reverting the spore buff too, right? And buffing up Hydralisk, I guess, to kind of pull Hydras back into, I guess, anti-muta type of meta.
But when they must not either know about this bug or they just haven't thought about it. I don't know how, like, if they don't, I just don't get, if they can implement where you can't abduct only Broodlords like they had it before, why isn't that a thing? It fixes every concern right now with Swarm Host, and it seems simple because they had it in the game before, and then they removed it. Why not do it? Like, if they have a legitimate reason, then I wish they would say why they're not. But I mean, I think almost 90% of pro players think that's the easiest and simplest way to just fix it. Seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I think that would be a pretty good solution too. It doesn't sound like they're going to be changing it anytime soon. I don't know. Did you guys get that impression from this thing?
Yeah,
I mean, he's just saying some people complain about changing this stuff too fast.
Like Stefano makes it a point, like we were talking about when he streams, or like even in this tournament, where it's like he's doing it to a point to like say this is fucking stupid. I'm gonna keep doing this to make my opponent suffer, and because I think it's funny how stupid this is, so I'm just gonna keep doing it. And if these games these games didn't happen, then it wouldn't be such a big issue. But the only way for it to fix is for it to continue to be an issue. So I kind of hope for like a 3-hour long.
So exactly. So
there's
those
enough-
2-hour games were necessities, what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
to some degree.
All right. Cool. But yeah, I mean, any other possible suggestions for changes? Steven, you think of any?
It's too tough. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like one of the things that you mentioned is that like this Ramos is kind of like it does fill roles. It's just like when you get too many of them, it's just not a good thing. You know, like there are times when Ramos are obviously good. Like they can help in CVP and they can definitely help in CVT versus mech. So like it's how do you make it so that they're still good in those scenarios without being able to build like 20 of them and like fucking your opponent over for the entire game?
Yeah,
I don't know.
sure.
Apparently, what Blizzard said about not reverting that being Broodlords being able not to be pulled is they want to keep the game consistent with being able to abduct everything. So they don't want to make it so the Broodlord is the only unit that can't be abducted. So it's basically
What, is that like a lore thing?
yeah. I don't get it.
Is it
It's
a
like-
lore thing? Oh my gosh! I hope it's not a lore thing.
Like,
That
I know,
is
I-
kind of-
so stupid.
They probably don't want to make like an arbitrary rule, even though this seems like it. You know, you guys both seem to think that this is at least something worth experimenting with, creating like having to like make something.
What if they made it so
I think
like,
it's
you
fine.
can't-
You don't have to
can't
have global
abduct-
rules. I mean, it's
They can make it so that you're not allowed to abduct massive bio air units, and then
Yeah,
your unit can be
exactly.
consistent. There you go. So all
Steven-
massive bio air units in the game.
Steven,
What?
lower your camera though. You're like dropping off.
You look like Wilson from Home Improvement.
There we go. There we go.
Just only see half your face.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems there's no reason not to just do it. I mean, it's not going to affect any other matchup. You don't have to worry about all this balancing.
Yeah.
Like, why complicate it so much when it doesn't need to be that complicated?
Yeah, I don't think it needs. I don't think the Viper needs like a global rule where it has to be all massive and stuff like that. You
Yeah.
can make exceptions to it. It's fine as long as everybody knows the rules and
Like, they're
it's
willing
balanced.
to like change PVZ drastically by making like buffing the cloud thing and then like making it so you can't abduct Colossus, which would like totally change the whole matchup like so much. And then like just because of this stupid little rule, they want to do that instead. It just seems like
Well, Blinding Cloud I think is kind of cool. I mean,
and no,
it is
it's a
something
cool
that could be buffed and it'd be kind of cool actually. But
I think it's already pretty fucking good. What was the buff on it that he suggested?
just a bigger. I
making
think a
it
bigger.
bigger or
yeah.
longer or whatever. But it doesn't make sense. Like if you want to do that separate of this like swarm host
Sure.
thing, then do that and like experiment with that the balance testing within that self. But like don't use that as balancing swarm host for swarm host.
Yeah.
Like, when you have this such an easy fix, why? Ugh, I don't know.
Cool. All right, so we kind of got sidetracked onto the Swarm host, or we kind of accelerated that discussion. But getting back to Lone Star Clash, so Jaedong ended up taking the whole thing. I think the semis and the finals were we had a pretty good lineup there in the semis and the finals. Violet actually got to the semis too. It's kind of good to see Violet back doing pretty well too. But what do you guys think of Jaedong's play? I mean, it's kind of the second term he's been, he's had a really nice run in. So is Jaedong really setting up for I guess a big push here and everything? What do you guys think?
He's I think he hasn't drastically gotten better within the last short amount of time. I think just when you play at the skill level that he plays at and you go to like a DreamHack or an IEM and all these tournaments, even this Lone Star Clash, which can be considered a small event. I mean, you have Polt, Bomber, Violet, Jaedong, Armani, who's like a Kespa Korean Zerg. I mean, even the weaker players, Koreans that are like Seed and Heart. I think it was just like a matter of time kind of thing, and he finally got this result. And it's kind of like unfortunate because whenever I see a win like this, it's like why couldn't it have been at IEM Katowice, or why couldn't like when I won MLG Orlando, I was always like salty. It was like 5K for first, even though it was like really hard. And I was like, man. Why couldn't have that happened at Providence or some other tournament? But
Right.
I think he's a good player. He's been at this skill level for a while, and he just finally got that first place finish. But whether he does that more within the next month or 2 months or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like largely up to what kind of draw he gets, how his condition is of that day, how lucky he is. So
All right, cool. Yeah, and Pole kind of finished second, and I mean, it wasn't very close. I mean, I think Jaedong, I feel like Jaedong won his semis and his finals pretty convincingly. But yeah, Pole. So that's kind of was the second time now. I think Polt's kind of come up short. I think was it DreamHack. He finished in the semis too. I think, right. So Pole. I mean, Pole's been kind of on a good run, but I feel like the way he's lost, or the way he's lost to Zergs or whatever, has been like, I think it was Revival and DreamHack. They just kind of know his number. Pole's going to play like this, and they just kind of know exactly what he's going to do, and he's ended up losing because of that. So, wonder if we're going to be seeing something different coming from Polt in the near future. I mean, I don't know. What do you think about Polt's play right now?
Polt's he's exactly how you said. He plays very standard. He's very predictable. He always does the same build orders, but he knows that that's his image. He knows that people know that about him.
Yeah.
But his mindset is, I'm gonna play so perfect. I'm gonna play so well that it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter that you know what I'm gonna do, because that's how good I'm gonna play, and that's how crisp like all my timings are, and blah blah blah. So, I mean, I think it would take him. He would need to get a lot worse results than second place to have that changed. But
okay.
we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I love seeing his bomb. I love the Bomber and Polt series, though. It kind of really showed kind of what you were talking about there. Cody, any last comments on Lone Star?
I just think it's really cool how consistent Jaedong is. I think if he has anything going for him, it's just so absurd that someone at a game that is as volatile as StarCraft is, that he competes so consistently. It's also cool to see Violet do pretty well over here in the States. He spent most of the last year not competing in the United States, so he couldn't get back in, so that's cool. And I know he's working with Andrew, and Andrew's in the area. And then it's good to see Stefano do so well again. There are inconsistent reports about how much he has or hasn't been practicing, but the Lone Star Clash has always been an event that sort of was right up his alley. So to see him doing pretty well, I think, given for how much he was practicing, was impressive.
I mean, he made it sound like he's not practicing at all, but there's...
I've heard that. Even when he was full time, I always heard that.
There's no way he's not practicing at all. I mean,
there are rumors that he's one of those kids that says stuff like that, and then he just has a lead.
Stefano practices a lot, even when he said he didn't practice.
Exactly. It's a pressure thing, I think, for him. Pressure release type of thing. Is to just kind of play it down, right? Not so he doesn't have a crazy amount of expectations. At least that's what I've heard too.
Yeah.
Or kind of around the
It's still
back
cool
scenes.
though, because he's beating full-time players. Like, sure, he's probably off of school right now, so he's getting to play a little bit more. But I mean, he has been going to school, so he's beating full-time players. So I mean, he was one game from beating Jaedong. So
yeah, he was. He was probably the closest person to almost beating Jaedong, quite honestly.
And ZVZ has always been his weakest matchup, and obviously Jaedong's strongest is probably ZVZ.
Yeah. No, it'd be great. It'd be great to see Stefano, and I mean, we're seeing him in more events already. So hopefully it continues. Who knows? Once his school starts getting a little bit more busy, I think we'll start maybe seeing him less. But in the meantime, it's nice to see him. It's good for the community too, I think, to see Stefano doing pretty well and that sort of thing. But for me to wrap up Lone Star Clash, I think it was another great event. Of course, again, there were some technical issues. I mean, caster-wise, I think Roddy and In Control and Axel Toss, right? Axel Toss kind of out of nowhere.
He started his career there, and then, this has been the last StarCraft 2 gig he's had since I think he left MLG, so that was kind of sick too.
Yeah, I know he's been going to school too, so A&M's pretty...
Does he live in the area?
I think so. I'm not sure if he's going back to College Station, A&M, or if he's...
Yeah.
I doubt he's going to Texas. I don't know. But he's definitely... I think he's in the area. He's been going to school, so good to see him there. He was obviously feeling a little under the weather. His voice was a little bit rough because of that. But, I don't know. It was cool to see Alex at just doing this again, I think. Oh. And, I think Jeff and Roddy did a great job, too. Is it always dark, or is it me at Lone Star Clash? Was the room super dark too, Huck? When you were there?
The stage area was really dark.
Yeah.
The player area was pretty bright. They were doing crazy stuff with the lights. The stage area, to be honest.
Yeah.
When we were playing, there was a very bright light that they had turned off. But this is the thing, there was a bright light, and then we complained, and then they turned it off.
Oh, okay.
So,
I see. Okay.
I mean, it's dark at MLGs though a lot of the time too. It's
Mm.
just sometimes it's really dark.
Okay. Yeah, but anyways, overall, great production again by a bunch, by a bunch of college students and organization, and we didn't even talk about the League of Legends portion of it, which I think went quite well too.
What
So, oh, what was that?
did not go? I don't think it went well at
Oh,
all.
did it not? Oh, okay.
I mean, like the tournament.
Wait, when? What happened? Why not?
Yeah.
No, the tournament itself went well, but
Mhm.
as far as viewers for them, I think Dyrus crushed them. Dyrus was streaming, and this tournament was going on, and then Dyrus was like twice as many views or 3 times as many views as the tournament itself.
To be fair, I mean, Dyrus can get like 25,000 viewers. Like he'll outdo some StarCraft 2 tournaments. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're talking about
But-
League of Legends. I mean,
Yeah.
they should have been getting.
It's because
Dude.
basically last year they had the best teams, like the
Mhm.
LCS teams, and now this year they had a bunch of collegiate teams and some Challenger League teams. And LoL's the game where you either have these really big star players or you have like
nobody.
they don't
Yeah.
care about anybody else. So they really hurt for viewers.
They try to make
Even
it up
the-
by having Scar there and some of the other guys,
Yeah,
casting and stuff. But yeah, I think last year they had a ton of viewers because of the teams they had there.
Yeah, if you have the LCS teams, I mean,
They're probably not
Makes
allowed
difference.
to, right?
no, you're not
Yeah.
It's 'cause-
anymore.
Riot's pretty crazy on that.
Very
that Nazi
strict.
rule. Yeah.
Nazis.
Well,
for sure.
Riot just wants to control their product, which I actually think is really smart. They're very adamant of being hands-on with sort of what their product is, and the players are an extension of that, so they're very diligent about where they're allowed to go and where they're not allowed to go.
Yeah, I can understand that too. But okay, so I didn't actually realize that the viewership was so bad. I didn't realize it was less than StarCraft 2 then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, not great then.
Yes.
It's a win on the board, boys.
It's a win, baby.
Woo!
It's a win.
Correct.
No dead game, no
I was
dead
chanting
game. Did
Dead
you-
game the whole time. No, I was in the lull. I was like watching the game and just screaming out dead game.
Oh my god. No, but good stuff. So let's talk about. Let's transition over to Takes Ultra Invitational event, and I didn't actually get a chance to catch much of it. It was definitely a lot of top Europeans were playing in it. Guys like Snoot and even like Hyun. Yeah, Hyun played in it.
Yeah.
MC, Hero Marine, ITLO, Red. Those a lot of the European favorites were in it. Any of you guys catch much of the event or?
I caught a little bit of it. One of the things that I thought was really interesting was the Europeans held it down against a lot of these sort of Korean transplants that live in the area, like all of MC's crew.
Yeah.
Is that what
All
we're
of
allowed to call
MC's
them?
crew.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I mean, like if you look at the of the top 4, 3 of them are European, which is sick.
I want to
Um,
say Sokka.
Yeah, I know.
Where the
That's
fuck
crazy,
did he
right?
come from?
I know. What's he been doing this whole
Does he
time?
even have a team anymore? Because he left.
I don't
alternate
think
last
so.
Year, didn't he?
He's like always been this player that like makes top 8 consistently in like a lot of tournaments, but like 3-0 MC, and then like even 2-1 TLO.
Well,
like I don't know where that came
Oh,
from.
3-2 the whole thing. 3-2
Yeah.
patience, 3-0 MC.
I was really impressed by him particularly. Like I was
Yeah.
not expecting that at all. So
Yeah, I mean,
And
3-0.
it's- like Snoot doing well is pretty standard by
Yep.
now, I think, especially in like ZVZ. But I don't know what it is, but Snoot versus Hyun, it's like Hyun cannot win to save his life. I don't know. It's been like 2 or 3 home story cups or something, and maybe
I
a few
think-
other tournaments.
Well, I mean, I think Snoot's style, just with the roaches, Hyun's just not at that level when it comes to like that meta game right there, and he always struggles against Snoot. So like his wins are usually some kind of cheesy type of, I believe, cheesy type of strategies that he come out wins. I didn't actually watch this finals, so I can't really say, but.
I mean, I wanted to ask, Cody, what do you think? Since like Europeans did do well and they have been doing pretty well against this set of Koreans, do you think, or even Steven, do you think these European Koreans are getting weaker, or do you think the Europeans are getting like on par level with Korean Koreans? Because I feel like to some degree there's like different sets of tiers of Koreans now. Like there's the Korean Koreans. And then there's like the Kespa Koreans that are like fucking still really scary. And then there's like the
The
European.
old guard. The old
Yeah.
guard, basically.
I don't think going to Europe and practicing in Europe can help you. I don't think. I think that playing on Korea has to be the best practice still. So
Yeah.
I know that Korea to EU has always been horrible. So I can't imagine a lot of people choosing to practice on Korea all the time. I still think they're really sick. Like if you see how far they make it in all these tournaments, I think it's really good. But I think like the Kespa Koreans are sort of the those
Cream
are
of the
the
crop.
yeah, you lose sleep over the Kespa Koreans, I think.
Yeah. I don't know, Steven. What do you think? I mean, what have you been thinking about some of these guys?
Yeah, I mean it's hard to say. I mean, I guess you would have to see like, do the Euro Koreans ever play like the Korean Koreans, or I mean, you'd have to watch games like that to see if they've really fallen off or not. I don't watch enough of those games to know for sure if like the Koreans that are like transplants are like actually starting to fall off or not.
Yeah.
Well, there's like different like at the last DreamHack, Roro and TY came. TY did okay, but lost to MC, and then Roro dropped out. I think even in group stages, but he was feeling like really sick or something from the travel, so it's so hard to judge. But then the Koreans that did go to the GSL Global tournament did really bad, so it's really weird. And this is something
Yeah.
that I'm gonna miss because I guess like BlizzCon is the only definitive thing that's like, let's gather all these players and see what happens.
Well, I mean, we have been starting to see even like the old guard Koreans. I guess you call them European Koreans nowadays, but just like the old school GSL champs and those sort of things, they're starting to make a push too recently, right? And um, even some of the foreigners, I think, recently have been starting to make a push too. So I don't know. I think the gap is still it is maybe shrinking just a tiny bit, but for sure the Casper Koreans are still by far the best players, I think, at this point.
Big Wellmu toured these kids asunder himself like
Mhm.
a month ago, didn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah. And that's awesome. Wellmu's also he's pretty sick. I saw a lot of tweets though, a lot of weird tweets after Snoot's win, where they were sort of for this weekend he had become the best foreigner in the world because it depends on who does well what weekend.
Yeah.
But I mean, like how does Snoot sort of where is he in the spectrum in your guys' opinion?
Best foreigner,
I
Snoot?
yeah.
most consistent one right
yeah,
now.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would say he's the. I mean, if you're gonna judge it like that, he's got the best results of any recently.
mhm.
But it's like until you get that big win, like that DreamHack, that IEM, that MLG tournament win, it's no one's gonna get the due credit, you know.
Well, it's tough. It's like I think right now Snoot's ZVZ matchup is world class. Like, I mean, he should have beaten Jaedong in the last tournament.
Yeah.
Honestly, like he kind of blew. I mean, Jaedong was really ballsy in some of the moves he made, which he ended up deserving to win. But I think he either played even or even better than Jaedong in that series. And it's really the other matchups. I think his ZVT is just considerably lower than some of the top Zergs right now. I think if he can kind of up that a little bit, his ZVP is not that bad actually. He he could be right up there. I mean, the thing about like Scarlet, has always been like her ZVT is just amazing. At least it was, at the end of last year, and I think it takes being really good against Terrans, at least Zergs. Being a Zerg, being good against the top Korean Terrans is really important to be one of the best players.
Scarlet's always been the scarier player to me compared to Snoot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Snoot deserves to be like branded the best foreigner right now.
Yeah, I mean, he has the results. He's consistently there, and he goes to these events too. He wins them. Whether they're big or small, whatever. So yeah, I think so. I don't know, Steven. What do you think? Who do you think is the best foreigner right now?
I don't even know anymore. I haven't seen Scarlet play in a while. I mean, she might have played recently, but I haven't followed any games in terms of like seeing a lot of foreigners play.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean,
I felt like a while ago. It felt like Naniwa and Scarlet were like the two foreigners that like conclusively held that title, but now it seems like it's getting a little bit hazier.
I think until there's a foreigner that wins like a WCS or a DreamHack or something like that, it's just gonna continue to be
Kind of,
speculation.
yeah. Like there's like a group of like Europeans that could all kind of vie for that title, and
Yeah.
it's hard to say until like a big premier win comes up, I would say.
Like Scarlet doesn't go to tournaments basically. She doesn't want
Yeah.
to fly to anything. So she doesn't really. So you like never really know. So until we see a big win, I think. is
Scarlet,
realistic.
there's something to be said about winning too. like just winning events, and then just what that kind of confidence brings to you, and just just that experience level of just being able to finish off a finals. And we don't really see that with Scarlett. Scarlett has some amazing matches and battles throughout tournaments, but it never quite runs all the way to the end. And I think that's what we kind of see. That's kind of what we're saying about the inconsistency. Like, she'll beat the best like Terran one week, the best Korean Terran, and then the next tournament she'll go out in like first, second round or something, to some kind of crazy strategy. And that's kind of the nature of the game to some extent.
Hitman.
But yeah, exactly right. But but some of these guys are able to kind of do it consistently, like Snoot. So yeah, hopefully we'll continue to see it. I mean, Vortex. There was some talk about Vortex too, right? In the last few months, he had a pretty good run too, just beginning this year. So
Yeah, but Vortex is like the king of like come and go, no?
Yeah.
kind of. I mean,
No,
It's-
he
it's-
like he
it kind.
is.
I mean,
Vortex is like the king of like, oh my fucking god, this is like the new foreigner on the ride. Where did he
It's
go?
it's always like that.
it's
You always
pressure.
you get hyped for someone. They play good for like 1 week, and then next week they get like eliminated in group stages. Or something.
It's like the story of tournaments. Day one, this guy's amazing, and then he
Yeah.
loses like first round of day two, or
It's really hard to
WCS.
determine how good a player is too off of like just a couple series. It's like something important too. Like we all know how variable StarCraft can be. So
Yeah.
to just say like, oh wow, this guy like made it to this round in a tournament because he won like 2 best of 3s against Asian Koreans. Like it's hard to say if he's going to consistently perform well in the future or not.
Yeah.
And then there's matchups too. Like some people like get they're really like I notoriously have been known for my PvP, and if I get
Sure.
PvP a lot, it's like okay, well he did that. It was PvP. It wasn't him overall. So I don't. It's hard to say. I just as soon as we see a big win, then whatever. I mean, even people could say Todd. Todd was like one of the foreigners that went the farthest, and
Bucharest, yeah.
yeah, and he had like really hard groups, and he performed really well. So, but then as soon as he got matched in a PVT, I think it was against Bunny. It was like not even close.
Right. No, that's pretty typical. I think every player has a very. I mean, they have one matchup that's just like weaker, usually a step below the rest of the matchups that they have. So it's very, very common. It's hard to be good at all three. I mean, that's really, really tough. But how about look at these brackets? It's like the top half was all Zergs and Terran, and the bottom half was pretty much all Zergs and Protoss. It's pretty strange looking bracket. I wonder if they meant for it to be like that. Well, they couldn't have, right? It's group stages. But this looks like another great tournament from Take. And I mean, Dennis seems like he's been doing a lot of events lately. Is it me or?
He's been grinding, dude.
God, it's crazy. I mean, we used to only see like Home Story Cups and maybe Team Story Cup, but man, he's like Home Story and Seat Story, and I feel like every 2 weeks I'm seeing something Take's doing.
He does the German cast. He did the German cast for DreamHack too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really putting his nose to the grindstone, and that's good for him. I think almost
Yeah.
everyone has universally good things to say about Dennis.
Yeah.
Did you guys catch like any sort of there was the equivalent like the appropriate bred Dennis apartment kind of shenanigans.
Oh, like the weight lift. I
smiling
saw the
out,
lifting part. Oh
There was
my.
Oh,
like
yeah.
someone dressed as a woman.
Someone's dressed as a woman. Like anytime Take is in the mix.
I think it was
things get,
Harston, right?
Was it Harston dressed the way? I gotta see
no.
this.
It was
I gotta
Naruto.
see this.
It was Naruto, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Naruto.
I remember the
he'd lost
picture
a
that was
bet.
on Reddit. The picture that was on Reddit was like, "It's the year of Harston," I think, and that's when the dress was on, or maybe not. Maybe I'm mixing up pictures.
I know. I think he was cupcaking. Harston was like cuddling up with the Naruto.
Oh man, I need to see this picture. I haven't seen this
The dress.
picture.
Yeah, I mean.
Chan
Look
Man
it up.
needs his fap material. Get it for you, man. Sorry.
That's right, man. That's right. No, MC. I saw MC singing some Disney stuff, or was it from Frozen or something? My daughter watches Frozen all the time, so I know that song.
I saw
He's actually not bad, man. He's actually
Yeah,
a decent
but-
singer.
he's okay. I saw it and I was
I
like,
mean,
I
he's
don't
not
give a shit.
JYP material or anything like that, but he's not bad. Not bad. Good stuff. But yeah, anyway, so another great tournament from Dennis, and hopefully we'll see another one in another 2 weeks. Who knows, man? Whether it's going to be StarCraft or maybe Hearthstone again. Hearthstone again. Who knows? But let's move on. Let's talk about some maps. So Team Liquid map contest just finished, and the winners were named. For both, I guess, team maps and for 1v1 maps. So let me take a
Can we-
look at those
Can we
here.
focus on the 1v1 maps?
Sure. Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna have shit to say about the team maps, to be honest. Not that
Wow.
I hate on these people or anything, but
No, the team maps. I mean, I don't know how many people actually play 2v2, 3v3 these days.
As an avid 3v3 player,
When's the last time you guys have played 2v2 or 3v3? Honestly.
not too long ago. I played with
Really?
like Cater and Jinro.
Oh, really? Wow, nice. How about you, Steven? When's the last time you played 2v2, 3v3?
not long enough.
I fucking I love the 2v2 and Acer or not the Total Biscuit run tournament. I think it's a really cool element to have like in clan leagues to have one 2v2 match out of like 5 or 7 matches. I don't mind it.
Yeah, MCSL used to do it. One of the problems as
remember
an
that.
organizer though is like there are certainly instances where like people don't try and practice it. You just put your 2 best players on the map and hope for the best. So it becomes very obvious when like I know
No
that
one's practicing.
Suppy and Zen, like they actually practice from my understanding.
Yeah. Well, they like just they have like they go to pro 2v2 players and like, what do you guys got for us? And they're like, oh, we got this build. And then they're like, all right, let's play 3 games of it. Yeah, seems
sick.
good. We run this.
Okay, word, good for them.
Well-
And it's good for the team too.
Yeah, it
Those
is.
wins
And-
matter, man.
Oh, usually they could be the deciding factor in those type of formats too. We won't talk much about it, but even just looking at the first place one, Sacred Path, it is kind of worth mentioning it because we can kind of talk a little bit about what if we saw a map like this in 1v1. It's very, I guess you could say it's very pro league type, right? I mean, look, there's only one pathway to the other side of the map,
What map is? What are we looking at?
Sacred Path.
Sacred Path.
Yeah, it's basically first place for the team map.
You can mine gold minerals on both sides too, which is kind of interesting.
Where?
Like a weird
Where's gold? I don't see gold.
It's in the
Sacred Path?
middle.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in the. Oh, that little patch is a gold. Oh my god, you're right. Holy crap. Okay, let me blow it up. Oh wow, that's kind of interesting.
Is this not the map that they play for Oxium? The Total Biscuit League for MLG?
Is
or
it?
whatever?
Is this the
I'm
one? I
pretty
mean,
sure
this
it
is,
is.
but this is a brand new one, right? I mean, they just picked brand.
It looks very fucking similar to that map.
Oh, okay. So maybe it is. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Kind of cool. I mean, this is definitely more along the lines of like really trying to change the way games are played right now with having stuff like this. But
To be honest, my first thought is it looks like a Brood War map or something. I don't know.
yeah,
I
it's
think
a
it
good
would play
thing,
out
right?
very
That's a-
weird. Yeah, but I mean, I'm all for trying new things, so I say like, fuck it, let's try this.
yeah,
But I don't know. It seems very, very different than everything else.
which is good. All right, so let's go to some of these 1v1 maps. And it looks like third place, Kamala Park, which I kind of remember this one. This one's a pretty standard looking one, I felt. Lots of little nooks and stuff in the middle of the maps for some interesting, maybe some interesting altercations. I can see Force Field being great on this map in the middle here, but pretty cool.
Has there
pretty cool.
ever been a good map built using the lava tile set?
I think so. There's that. Yeah. Not that I.
1v1. I can't remember any actually.
I don't mind the tile set though, as long as the lava isn't like too much. Sometimes...
Yeah, no. The tile set's fine. It's just I don't think we've ever had a good map on the lava tile set.
There's no reason for it, right? I mean, you could build a space one just
Yeah,
a
sure.
lava theme. It's so it is kind of weird. Second place, Foxtrot. This was actually my favorite one when I first saw all the candidates. So this one ended up finishing second. I have a feeling we'll see this on the ladder though. This one's I think good enough to qualify for the ladder. What do you guys think of Foxtrot?
Hold on, I'm trying to find it.
I'm looking it up.
Here, give you
Scroll
I think
down.
it looks good.
right
Keep
here.
Yeah.
It looks good, Cody.
Yeah, there we go. Solid, man.
Thanks, man.
Best
Why do you think it looks
recommendation.
good?
Thumbs up. 2 thumbs up, guys.
2 thumbs
Yeah.
up.
Awesome. 'Cause
It's
I was
really
thinking-
hard to tell until you've actually played the map, I think. I don't know.
Or watched Kespo players play it. That's how I learned my maps.
Oh,
Watching
yeah.
it play it and like, oh, okay, I see what you did there.
All right.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it looks interesting. There looks like there's like a lot of shit that could happen, but it's so hard to say. But I'm all for trying new things. Do you know if this is gonna have like any impact on tournaments or possibly ladder? Because I know in the past they have implemented maps for this contest.
Let me see what the prize is. I forget what the prize is.
There is no
actually.
money, as far as I know.
Yeah, no
No
money, but for this,
Kind of
probably
shitty.
donated probably
Yeah,
money.
because before they had money. So
There
people,
also
like,
wasn't a guarantee that the map would make it into the ladder. I
Oh, there
remember
was
that.
prizes. Yeah, just no money. Okay, so there's gear and yeah, there's never been a guarantee. It's always just been, kind of not really implied, but it there's a very very good chance it's gonna make it on, at least in the past. No mention of it this time around, but I think the past ones they've all made it to the ladder. So I wouldn't doubt that this is the same thing here. But the winning map on overall, just for 1v1, was this Biome or Biome?
Yeah,
CJ
it-
Biome?
biome, I want to say.
Yeah. This looks kind of interesting. It does have some
looks
lava.
cool.
A lot of
It looks
metallus
cool.
in this.
Yeah.
What looks weird though is it looks like there are 5, so it's in a circle. This is actually what I think makes it sick.
This is like a
I
this is like a one this is like a
immediately-
FFA type of map.
I
dude.
immediately think of the Hunger Games, the second Hunger Games movie. Like I feel like this shit's gonna spin, and there's gonna be monkeys coming out of the jungle. There's gonna be a tidal wave
What?
coming from like the rainforest or some shit. Like,
Yeah.
scared.
Yeah, that's cool. I think it's designed pretty well. Some people think it's ugly, but I don't know. I think it looks kind of cool. Reminds me a little bit of what was the old map back in the day? Had the three different
Test bug.
Test Bug. Yeah, reminds me of Test Bug
Test
a little
Bug.
bit.
I think most people like that map too.
Yeah,
The
Test Bug.
test bug map or the one that looks like test bug?
Dude, this is
The test bug. Did you not like it?
No, I thought it was fun.
it's a three man map, right? So
Yeah.
it's a total
I think
FFA
this is-
map, dude. 5-man FFA. Let's go. Right now.
The thing I don't like about StarCraft 2 is sometimes the maps are too big or there's too much graphical things on it, and the maps lag. Like some maps are like worse FPS wise compared to other maps, and I feel like whenever StarCraft 2 has those kind of limitations,
Yeah.
the play is really dulled down, and you get like, like we were talking about it even at Lone Star Clash. If we had to play with these huge lag spikes, like you can predetermine what strategies you're going to use based on how good the computer or internet is at whatever tournament.
Wow.
Because there's like some that it's like that computers aren't so good, so you're like, well, fuck, like, do I really want to take this late game where I'm gonna?
I
have
don't
to,
get
like,
that, man. Like,
micro?
how can computers
Because-
be the freaking issue at this point? There's so many great
there's
computer
some-
sponsors these days, and we're
People-
still like shitty
It's not,
computers.
Awesome, man.
I
there
mean-
aren't processors that are made for StarCraft 2. You can't. The game is
Seri-
the game
Wow.
only runs off of 2 threads at the most. So your like single-threaded performance is absolutely fucking crucial. And even if you're on like a Haswell chip that's overclocked to fucking 4.6 gigahertz, you're still gonna get slowdowns. You're still gonna have shit lagging out. Like especially when you get towards like max versus max situations, you're gonna be pulling like 10, 15 FPS on like a $500 chip like every time. There's nothing you can do about it. You can
Well-
have all the Alienware, whatever you want in the world. You can't do shit about it.
wrecked, ChanMan.
Wow.
Sit down.
All right, fine. But anyways, another great great initiative by the Team Liquid. They're continuing to do this. This is the 4th one, I believe, which is really great. I think Plexa is heading up this. I hope he's still doing it. If not,
Yeah,
somebody at
Plexa.
Team Liquid is doing it, and it's been great. I mean, I think it's been good for the community and even just the game itself. It's kind of forced some changes that we've seen. Like you said, Huck, like the new maps, right? I think some of those come from
ESP notably absent.
yeah,
No
ESP actually is not here at all. Actually, some of the normal, or the usual suspects are not here. Actually, Time Twister's there, but a lot of the guys that you typically see. I wonder why they didn't submit any this time around.
Gotta get that cheddar, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty rare, man.
Yeah,
Getting the
definitely
map
map
making cheddar.
making.
So
Yeah.
whenever you can, definitely do it. So congrats to Nem Ross C for winning this Team Liquid map contest, and hopefully we'll have him back too with another cool map. All right, let's take some questions. Actually, let's take a quick break and we'll take some questions. So guys, we'll be right back.